I already sent video. This video is a recalling video for the lesson 1, laws of motion. Things around us are related to one another. Some bodies are at rest and some are in motion. Rest and motion are interrelated terms. So what is rest? What are the examples for the rest? What is motion? What are the examples for the motion? What are the types of motion? Then what is inertia? What is force? What are the types of forces? I am going to explain one by one. So what is rest? While you are coming to the school, you have to see so many things. Auto, animals, tree, bus, and a human being also. A body is said to be at rest if it does not change its position. What are the examples? Stones, walls, a book lying on a table. What is motion? Your body is said to be motion if it changes its position. A bus moving on the road. What are the types of motion? You have already studied in the 9th standard. Linear motion. An object moves in a straight line. It is called as a linear motion. Second one, circular motion. An object moves in a circular path. Oscillatory motion, a body moves to and fro. A random motion, a body moves in a zigzag manner. You already studied in a 9th standard. The example for the linear motion, a car moving straight line. Circular motion, fan. Oscillatory, pendulum. Random, a fish in a fish tank. What is inertia? Very important question. I am already informed. In our daily life that an object lying anywhere keeps on lying there only unless someone moves it from there. For example, a chair, a table, a bed cannot change their positions on their own. A body at rest cannot start moving on its own. Similarly, a body in a uniform motion cannot stop on its own. So the inherent property of a body by virtue which it resists any change in the state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line on its own is called as a inertia. So what are the types of inertia? Inertia of rest, inertia of motion and inertia of direction. It is given in your book, page number 3. So what is inertia of rest? The resistance of the body to change its state of rest. Example for this, when you vigorously shake the branches of a tree, some of the leaves and fruits are detached. Inertia of motion, the resistance of the body to change its state of motion. Example, an athlete runs some distance before jumping. Inertia of direction, the resistance of the body to change its direction of motion. Example, when you make a sharp turn while driving a car, you tend to lean sideways. So, without an object at rest cannot start moving. So, your body in a uniform motion cannot stop on its own. So, next heading, force. What is called as a force? I have already informed some object at rest, some object are moving. When a body is at rest, start moving. A question that arises in your mind, what causes the body to move? When a moving object comes to rest, you would like to know what brings it to rest. So if moving object speeds up or slows down or changes its direction, what speeds up or slows down the body? What changes the direction of motion? I keep the ball on the table. Now the ball is at rest. Suppose I kick the ball begins to move. I want to change the ball to in another direction, so I give more speed to the ball. So what changes the direction of motion? For all these questions, we get an answer, force. So what is called as a force? Force is a push or pull to move or bring to rest or change its velocity. So push or pull is called as a force. What are the types of forces? Like parallel forces. If the two forces acting in the same direction, F1, now you consider F1 is one force, F2 is one force. So what is the net force is equal to F1 plus F2. Unlike parallel forces, the forces F1 and F2 act in opposite direction. F net force equal to F1 minus F2 if F1 is greater than F2. Next, F2 minus F1 if F2 is greater than F1. It is given in your book, page number 4. Third one, parallel equal forces act in opposite direction. F1 and F2 moves in opposite direction. F1 minus F2 is equal to 0. Since F1 and equal to F2. So, if the resultant force is equal to 0, it is called as a balanced force. If the resultant force is not equal to 0, this is a unbalanced forces. So, this is a recalling video. You have to go through this video. What are the questions? First one, what is race? What is motion? What are the types of motion? What is inertia? What are the types of inertia? What is called as like parallel, unlike parallel forces, balanced forces and unbalanced forces. You have to go through your book pages 1 to 4. You have to read the lesson and mark the questions. Isaac Newton was one of the greatest scientists. As a boy, he often made mechanical devices such as... Next heading, Newton's law of motion. Very important. 2 more questions as well as a detailed question. Newton, first law, second law and third law. What is Newton's first law? It gives the definition of force and inertia. Second law, it establishes the relationship between force and momentum. Third law is to establish the relationship between the action and reaction forces. I will explain Newton first law, second law and third law one by one in a detailed manner. Newton first law. Every body continues to be in state of rest or the state of uniform motion along a straight line unless it is acted upon by some external force. Newton first law of motion consists of 3 parts. I divide this definition into 3 parts. I will explain one by one. The first part states that a body at rest will remain at rest unless some external force acts on it to change its state of rest. For example, a book lying on the table, is it in the state of rest? It will remain so unless someone picks it up or moves it from one position to another. Suppose I keep a book on my table, the book remains in the same position if anybody take a book, otherwise if anybody move the table. Second one. Second part says that a body in a uniform motion continues to move uniformly in a straight line unless some external force acts on it to change its state of motion. We find that a ball rolling on the ground stops after some time. When the engine of a moving car is switched off, it stops after traveling some distance. Motion of the bodies is being opposed by invisible forces like air resistance and a force of friction between the body and the ground. The third part states that a body continues to move along the same straight line or unless some external force acts on it. For example, to turn a car moving over a straight road, we have to apply a force on the steering wheel of the car. So, I divide this definition into 3 parts. First one, body continue to be in a state of rest. I give an example. Then second one, a state of uniform motion along a straight line unless some external force act on them. Next heading, Newton's second law of motion. According to this law, the force acting on a body is directly proportional to the rate of change of linear momentum of the body, and the change in linear momentum takes place in the direction of the force. I am going to give the example for the Newton's second law. In a cricket, a fielder moves his arms backward in the direction of a ball while taking a catch. Shockers are provided in vehicles. Car passengers are advised to wear the seat belt. I have already sent the video. Springs are provided in car seat. China and glassware are packed with a soft material with wide transportation. China and glassware are wrapped in a paper or straw before packing to avoid breakage and when transported. According to Newton's third law of motion, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Action and reaction forces act on different bodies. What are the example of the Newton's third law of motion? It is given in your book. I do more example for you. How do we walk? When we walk on the ground, then our foot pushes the ground backward. This is action. In return, the ground pushes our foot forward with an equal and opposite force. This is reaction. In your book, they give the case of the person swimming. When a person swims, she or he pushes the water in the backward direction. This is action. With the hands, as a reaction, the water pushes the person in forward direction with an equal force. Then third one, in case a gun recoil when a shot is fired from it. When a gun is fired, the bullet goes out due to the force applied on it through the trigger. This is action. According to the Newton's third law of motion, the gun recoil backward due to the reaction acting on it in an opposite direction. This gives a backward jerk to the shoulder of the person who is shooting. Momentum. First of all, I am going to give an example. Afterwards, I will give the definition for the momentum. Next one, we will see the linear momentum. We know that cricket ball is heavier than the tennis ball. Suppose we throw both a cricket ball and tennis ball with the same speed. It is found that more force is required to stop the cricket ball, which has more mass, and less force is required to stop the tennis ball, which has less mass. So it can be concluded that if two bodies of different masses are moving with the same speed or velocity, force needed to stop the heavier body is more than that required for the lighter body. So the force needed to stop a moving body is directly proportional to its mass and velocity. This gives us the term known as momentum. So you have to throw the tennis ball and the cricket ball at the same time, but more force is needed for the cricket ball because the mass of the cricket ball is greater. Next heading, linear momentum. It is also represented by the letter P6. Next heading, linear momentum. It is given in your book, page number 3. The product of mass into velocity of a moving body gives us the magnitude of the linear momentum. It acts in the direction of velocity of an object. Linear momentum is represented by the letter P equal to m into v. M is mass is measured in kilogram, velocity is measured in meter per second. So unit of linear momentum is kg m s minus 1. M is the scalar quantity. The quantity which possesses magnitude, it is called as a scalar quantity. The quantity which possesses both magnitude and direction, it is called as a vector quantity. Velocity is a vector quantity. So linear momentum is a vector quantity. They ask two questions in this paragraph. What is the unit of linear momentum? What is whether it is a scalar or vector quantity. Next heading, momentum. First of all, I am going to give an example. Afterwards, I will give the definition for the momentum. Next one, we will see the linear momentum. We know that cricket ball is heavier than the tennis ball. Suppose we throw both a cricket ball and tennis ball with the same speed. It is found that more force is required to stop the cricket ball, which has more mass, and less force is required to stop the tennis ball, which has less mass. So it can be concluded that if two bodies of different masses are moving with the same speed or velocity, force needed to stop the heavier body is more than that required for the lighter body. So the force needed to stop a moving body is directly proportional to its mass and velocity. This gives us the term known as momentum. So you have to throw the tennis ball and the cricket ball at the same time, but more force is needed for the cricket ball because the mass of the cricket ball is greater. Next heading, linear momentum. It is also represented by the letter P6. Next heading, linear momentum. It is given in your book, page number 3. The product of mass into velocity of a moving body gives us the magnitude of the linear momentum. It acts in the direction of velocity of an object. Linear momentum is represented by the letter P equal to m into v. M is mass is measured in kilogram, velocity is measured in meter per second. So unit of linear momentum is kg ms minus 1. M is the scalar quantity. The quantity which possesses magnitude, it is called as a scalar quantity. The quantity which possesses both magnitude and direction, it is called as a vector quantity. Velocity is a vector quantity. So linear momentum is a vector quantity. They ask two questions in this paragraph. What is the unit of linear momentum? What is the, whether it is a scalar or vector quantity? Next heading, very important detailed question. Principle of law of conservation of linear momentum. It is given in your book, page number 7. What is the definition? There is no change in the linear momentum of system of body as long as no net external force acts on them. What is linear momentum? P is equal to m into v. Now you see the diagram. Let us prove. Now we are going to prove the law of conservation of linear momentum with the following example. Let us consider the two body A and B having masses m1 and m2 with velocity u1 and u2. Let the velocity of the first body be higher than the second body, that is u1 is greater than u2. During an interval of time t, they tend to have a collision. After that impact, both of them move along the same straight line with the velocity v1 and v2. Now I take the two body, masses m1 and m2 moving with the velocity u1 and u2. After the collision, that velocity changes v1 and v2. Then when I am writing here, A, consider body A, m1 u1, B, m2 u2, velocity v1 and v2 after the collision. Now the force on a body B due to A. Now the two bodies, they collide with each other. Fa acting on the body B, Fb acting on the body A. Then only I am writing force on a body B due to A. That is Fa is equal to m2 v2 minus u2 by t. According to the Newton's second law, F is equal to ma. Here A is acceleration, change in velocity divided by time taken. So final velocity minus initial velocity by t. We consider the force acting on a body B due to A. Then only I am writing Fa is equal to m2 because we consider the body B. The mass of the body B is m2. Final velocity of the body v2. Initial velocity of the body B u2. v2 minus u2 by t. This is equation number 1. Force on a body A due to B. Fb is equal to m1. b1 minus u1 by t. Force on a body A due to B, Fb is equal to m1, b1 minus u1 by t. This is equation number 2. According to Newton's third law of motion, action force equal to reaction force, that is Fb is equal to minus Fa. Substitute the values for Fb and Fa. m1, b1 minus u1 by t equal to minus m2, b2 minus u2 by t. I cancel t on both sides. m1 b1 minus m1 u1 is equal to minus m2 v2 plus m2 u2. Rearrange this equation. m1 b1 plus m2 v2 is equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. Algebraic sum of momentum after collision is equal to sum of momentum before collision. Equation confirms in the absence of an external force, the algebraic sum of momentum after collision is numerically equal to sum of momentum before collision. Hence the law of conservation of linear momentum is proved. This is a very important detailed question. Thank you.